highway of life. Just a gypsy with a full tank of gas. Not sure where my next meal's from. Put down the pedal and sing into the sun. Moonshine, light my way. Won't you take me down south to stay? Tomorrow is one more day. So moonshine, light my way. And all aboard and we're ready to go. We're rocking down the highway to another sold-out show. And I smoke because I roll my own. Reading all the billboards telling me to go home. Moonshine, light my way. Won't you take me down south to stay? Tomorrow is one more day. So moonshine, light my way. Had a little trouble way back when. Life ain't easy, back on the road again. Got myself lost way out of town. Said a prayer to the dashboard, and I would not back down. Moonshine, light my way. Won't you take me down south to stay? Tomorrow is one more day. So moonshine, light of my way. Coming through the fog at the line. Better cross your fingers that you'll make it home alive. Shadows jump out in front of my car. Keep your dice on the dashboard and your lightning in the jar. Moonshine, light my way. Won't you take me down south to stay? Tomorrow is one more day. So moonshine, light of my way. I let moonshine light of my way. Thank you. That's another.
Well, good morning, Walrus Nation. It is Monday, May the 14th, the day we've all been waiting for. At least I know I have. I've got butterflies in my stomach. I'm very excited to be here, though I didn't get everything squared away the way I wanted it to. Let's see if I can't get this volume up a little bit. Mayor, how we doing now? Now you ought to be able to keep me at the same level as the music anyway. I was adjusting this all last night. Thought I had it squared away. There it is. So now volume levels ought to be better. I didn't get the video aspect of the Walrus Attack show set up and figured out yet, but it takes time. I bumped my head last year, and sometimes the CD skips a little bit, so things are a little more difficult to figure out sometimes. I'm just thrilled to be doing this again, and thanks to a lot of folks, our friends at Vendetta Wear. We've got new Walrus shirts. I've got events booked, and yes, I will get the shirts up either through Facebook or somewhere where you can order them online. I've got folks, our dear friend John Johnson down in Florida was wanting to figure that out. Pam Pies texted me and said the volume is good, so now I know I'm on track again. Thanks, Baby Cakes, for listening, and thank you to each and every one of the Walrus Nation for your positive energy, your prayers, and over the past year, and those of you that came out to see me in Daytona. Yes, I got to go to Daytona and work that event. Got to see our friend Johnny Lang and Mr. Paulie Fabiano. Met some wonderful people. The new Minnesota franchise owner, Miss Phoenix Jean, you can check her out. Had a great time, and it inspired me. It motivated me, and now we're here back on the air. Calendar of events already booked. I'll be sharing those with you later on in the program. The first one's coming up this weekend, though, and it's for our Northeast Maryland, Southern Pennsylvania, Delaware folks, even Southern Jersey. It is the first annual Outlawed Jamboree. It's a full day of music at Bob's Corral in the Woods. It's a bar in Northeast. You can look it up, Elkton area in Maryland. We'll be there this Saturday. Then on Sunday, the 20th, we'll be down in Rock Hall for their Spring Bike Fest. It's a one-day event down in Rock Hall, Maryland. I'll be sharing those details with you. I'm like got butterflies in my stomach, y'all, and I don't know if you're as excited to have me back, as excited as I am to be back, but it's a growing progress, a learning curve again, and building that audience. It's been a while, but I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very thankful for those that have helped me to get here, not only my therapists and the doctors that helped me, but all of you, the ones that sent cards, the ones that sent messages, the ones that called, the ones that have been by to check on me, and the ones that have continued to encourage me to get back to doing what I love doing, and that's being a part of your day. The Daily Dope segment will be coming up. We debated what to do with that because of the dope part of it. People are going to hear the word dope, but it's an acronym for Dose of Positive Energy. It's your Daily Dope. Instead of naming the show that, we'll have our segment called The Daily Dope. I'll share some positive energy with you just to help brighten your day. It's all it takes is a little positive energy, and when you need a jump start, well, I want to be the guy you turn to. You need a little laugh, I'll be happy to try to share one with you. You need a little motivation, I'll try to share that with you too, because I got to tell you, the past 14 months hasn't been real easy for yours truly, but it has been possible because of positive thoughts, positive energy, and a positive mindset. And I think that's what each of us strive for daily. And in a world that we live in, it's hard to find that little bit of positive energy, isn't it? But I'm here to help. I will do my best each and every day, if nothing else, to put a smile on your face. It's the Walrus Attacks podcast here on Spreaker.com. Be sure you tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Hell, I don't even care if you tell your enemies. Just tell somebody that the Walrus podcast is back. And let's see if we can't grow this into something. I'm looking forward to being here each and every day with you, sharing those crazy stories of life that you're not going to believe this, finding a little positive energy in our day and sharing a laugh or two. I got to tell you, a big thanks goes out also to Tony DeVille Inc., and DeVille Inc. Tattoo and Piercing Company. He's down on Eastern Avenue in Baltimore. Tony's been a dear friend for a long time and has been just very supportive of me throughout the years. And even now, as I go down and spend time with him, and I haven't had time to do that here recently, but that time will come. We may even do a live broadcast from Tony's shop. We've done that in the past, and we love doing that for our sponsors. I'm trying to talk Wayne at Vendetta Wearing to let me do one from his shop, but he says he's so daggone busy. I'm good right now, but some business ebbs and flows, and there'll be that time when he's looking for new customers and his workload slows down a little bit. But we appreciate all the efforts that his folks have done in creating our shirts and getting those out there so that we can sell them. See, that's how we fund this program. And so when you know that I'm going to be at an event and it's in your neck of the woods, come by and see me, say hi, and pick up a shirt, and know that you are helping support this Walrus Attacks podcast, and it'll help advertise for me a little bit as well. Got some friends heading down to Myrtle Beach. It's Myrtle Beach Bike Week coming up, and I think it's in full swing right now. It just started this previous weekend, I believe. The only reason I don't know is because I couldn't get myself booked down there, so didn't head that way. But this weekend, again, details coming later on in the program about the 20th. That's the Outlawed Jamboree at Uncle Bob's Corral in the Woods this Saturday. And then Sunday, May the 20th, it's a Rock Hall's Spring Bike Fest. Yours truly will be there as well. Come by and say hi. So as I finish getting myself organized here a little bit, I'll be back with our first story of the day. This is our friends Silver Tongue and their original song, The Pawn. Welcome to the program, everybody.
Checkmate. Can you feel it now? Now the lights are out, so am I.
Nah, we're all winners, but I like that song. Silver Tongue, a local band out of the Baltimore metropolitan area. A DeVille Inc., a sponsored band, and Jägermeister sponsored. They're a bunch of good guys, Speed and the crew. I've worked with them before, had the pleasure of working with them and just being a part of their party. You know, they concerts are very good. They're good on stage live, and they're good there recorded, and we appreciate Silver Tongue's contributions. I know I said I was coming back with the first story, but I've got so much to share with you, and while I've got it in my head, I better share it with you because I'm liable to forget it by the next time I come back to you. I know there was a lot of things people enjoyed from the previous airing of this podcast, and yours truly will be bringing those back. The Walrus Wonders question of the day, but I got started a little bit late today, and with the excitement of everything, I didn't want a whole bunch of posts on my social media back to back to back, so I just shared catch up with me, and then now the live podcast gets notification, and good Lord willing, I'll have a question of the day ready for you all tomorrow, because I love your participation. I love the fact that you guys respond with answers and gives me something to talk about, and I don't always share who actually said it, so feel free to participate. Share the Walrus Wonders question of the day, another segment that I'm excited about, as well as the Daily Dope, where I'll be sharing, I'll find something positive. When you need a positive thing to focus on, this is it. And so you can look forward to a dose of your Daily Dope every day, and then a brand new segment once a week. We'll be checking in with where in the world is Paulie Fabiano. Now, what? Paulie Fabiano? Okay, he's a dear friend of mine who also lives this vendor life. Him and his wife and their 2 dogs get up in their motor home and take off. They've been all around the country this past year already, because the motorcycle rally industry moves west when it's a little colder here in the east. You know what I'm saying? They toured the southeast, and I got to see him in Daytona as well. And once a week, we'll check in. Where in the world is Paulie Fabiano? And on YouTube, you can check out his channel called Vendor Life. They do a video daily or regularly. I'm not sure the frequency of it, but Vendor Life, he shares everything from breakdowns with his rig to rained out weather to windstorms that take out half the vendors' tents, and the drama and excitement that goes along with living a life on the road, being a vendor. Modern day carnies is all we are. We're just the latest, greatest traveling circus or carnival, and it's a motorcycle related carnival usually. And we'll be checking in with him, things like that. We'll also be checking in, hopefully, with our dear friend Laura Burrell from Crazy Bitch Productions. She's the other half of this entity that we started a couple of years ago, and she's been keeping it alive and on the road, and you can check out what she's doing on the road as well, and we'll keep up with the latest and greatest designs and paraphernalia from Crazy Bitch Productions. Looking forward to that. And it's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to a good time each and every day. It thrills me to just be able to be here, and the fact that my speech, I'm so grateful and so thankful that the good Lord has blessed my efforts, and that the therapist that worked with me had the strategies and exercises I needed to do to be able to do this again. I know we tried it back in the fall, and I said we was going to try to be on the road, on the air by the first of the year. Well, takes a little while, and things didn't fall into place as fast as I wanted them to. But then again, it's not my plan, right? You can make plans, but there's somebody else in control, and we know it ain't us. I damn sure know it ain't me. But that's just my situation. But here we are. It's May 14th. The Walrus Attacks podcast is on the air, and grateful to be here. That first story I was promising y'all, let's talk about that a minute. We become very high-tech connected. when I was a kid coming up, the invention of an answering machine. And that I'm not that old. It's not like this was 100 years ago or I'm even 80 years ago. This was in my short 49-year lifespan. Answering machines became popular, and now people could leave you a message when you weren't home instead of just having to call back. You know, the rotary dial phones, you keep calling people back, you get blisters on your fingers spinning that thing around. So you got the answering machine, and then we got beepers, and then we got cell phones, and now text messages. You can just text, email right from your phone. How much is too much to text a person, especially when it's your first date? Well, there's a young lady that didn't necessarily think there was any limit or there was any code of ethics about what you should put in a text message. Now, mind you, this is her first date. 65,000 text messages, ranging from "you're my soulmate" to, when the responses weren't as frequent as she wanted, it went from "you're my soulmate, I want to spend the rest of my life to you" to "I hope you die, you filthy, rotten Jew." I'm just repeating what the article, the police said. She sent even more threatening, that she wanted to bathe in his blood. Now, in a jailhouse interview, this whack job says that loving him selflessly is what brought me this information about he's my soulmate. Now, anybody else with common sense in the justice system that's dealing with this woman, at that moment, wouldn't you go, held over for psychological evaluation? This chick has got, and she's 31, but she has got to be outhouse crazy. And how, if you're that guy, what do you tell this person to go away? How do you make them go away? Have you ever been male or female? Have you ever had that fatal attraction date? That this was just one date. They've only had one date, mind you. And 65,000 text messages ranging from the obsessive love to the dangerous, violent, "oh God, if I can't have you, nobody's going to have you" kind of situation. That's why I have difficulty, even my daughters, growing up. The youngest one's still, she's in a permanent, not married, but she's in a committed permanent relationship, and I'm glad she's not dating. Because the CDC says that 1 out of 4 people suffer from mental illness, and 1 out of 5 people have herpes. So in a group of 8 people, it's possible for one of those individuals to be a herpes-infested lunatic. Dating has to be so damn scary right now, especially with these kind of whack jobs out there. And I don't know if they were always there. These kind of people were always around, but they kept themselves in the shadows and weren't so eager to live in this world that, well, everybody gets a trophy, you have to accept me crazy or not, so here I am, splash, and they jump in the pool. No, go back to hiding in the woodwork. Keep your crazy under covers. Although that's kind of hypocritical of me, because Crazy Bitch Entertainment's motto is, we don't hide our crazy, we give it a cocktail and parade it on the porch. I would hate to be judgmental, but I'd like to think that, our kind of crazy is a more fun, entertaining kind of crazy than a holy crap, lock your doors and put bars on the windows because you've contacted a real nutcase. But 65,000 text messages, and how do you escalate from "you're my soulmate, I want to spend the rest of my life with you" to "I hope you die"? Is that the epitome of being bipolar, that 1 minute you're in love and as soon as something, because I don't know. I understand what being bipolar means, but is this an example of it? Is this how the mood swings or mental, or, is it just somebody's off their pills today. I'm not sure. But 65,000 text messages. I don't think I could send 65,000 text messages in a year. I do have one good text message story from years past. My youngest, was time for her to get a cell phone and show her responsibility and what have you. Guess who failed on their sense of responsibility? That'd be yours truly. Because I got the phone set up for her on my account, and I apparently forgot or didn't clearly inform the service person that I wanted unlimited text messages on my daughter's phone. So somehow that didn't get set up first month. I'm all proud of her. She's doing good and hasn't dropped it, lost it, or done anything. First bill comes. Who knew that a 13-year-old girl could send 3,200 text messages in 1 month? Problem was that little box didn't get checked for unlimited text messaging, and the bill was 25 cents for every text message she sent. And so you can do the math and figure what a quarter of 3,500 text messages is going to be. You know, somewhere around just under $90. Oh, well, that was just text message charges, and she was born in 96, she was 13 in 09. So there you go. And I like to have passed out. You're in school. You got homework to do. You're playing softball. I can't send, that's when I discovered what group texting was. You know, oh God, I was so far behind, but my heart was in my throat when I saw that, $1,000 cell phone bill. But thank goodness that all cleared up. Now we don't have those. You don't have that kind of problem. Everybody's got unlimited. You're paying, $200 a month for yours, your wife's, and one of your kids' phones or something, $240, whatever it comes up to be. Now they're streaming television programs on their phone. We thought it was cool that we could take a picture with it. I find it just amazing that how technology has advanced. The ability to send 65,000 text messages to one person, that just blows Kirsten's 3,500 away. But technology is what allows me to be here with you today. I'm not running a radio station. I'm running a podcast. And we're here at the Walrus compound in the newly renovated studio. We've brought it back to life. We've actually relocated it here on the compound. We've got opportunities for folks to come visit with us. I'm working on trying to get in touch with Mr. Mike Finazzo. He's a fellow comedian, but he is also an up-and-coming filmmaker, and he's got a film to be released. I think it's going to be viewed at the Senator Theater in Baltimore. But we'll get him to share those details with you if I can get him in here this week or via the telephone this week or next, whatever his schedule permits, promoting any kind of entertainment. If you're a musician in a band, especially a local band, trying to make your break like Silver Tongue, well, hit me up. You can send me an email at tyarsh01. That's my first initial T, my last name, YAROSH01, no spaces, no underscores, at gmail.com. We'll set it up to come in. If you can't be here for the live show from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. daily, we'll make it a phone interview, or we'll bring you in and pre-record the interview and then air it at a later date. But I'd love to have you here. I'd love to share your talent and your gift that the universe has given you with the world and help you promote yourself, and look forward to the Thunder Walrus coming to events near you this Saturday, May the 19th. It's the very first annual Outlawed Jamboree. It's at Uncle Bob's Corral in the woods. You can look that up on Facebook. They're up in the Northeast Elkton area. It's like 11 in the morning until 9 or 11 at night, a full day of music, great musicians, and entertainment available. It's under a pavilion. They'll also have vendors there. Crazy Bitch Entertainment. I'll be there entertaining and have both choppers for you to have photographic opportunities with. So come by, say hi, pick up a shirt, and help support this Walrus Attacks podcast and get your picture made on one of Crazy Bitch Entertainment's very cool choppers. Speaking of which, these bikes, one of them is the one I went down on a little over a year ago. Mr. Jerry Tully in Oliphant, Pennsylvania. That's up in the northeast corner near Scranton. He owns a little company called Custom Auto and Cycles. It's much more than just a little company. Jerry is a very talented body man and fabricator. His son is a talented painter and mechanic. And both of the motorcycles that Crazy Bitch Entertainment travels with are Jerry Tully creations. Mine was the one I dumped. It started life as a 91 Softail. He put it all back together, an immaculate paint job on it. And the other bike, Tully 1, it was affectionately known as the purple bike through Jerry. The purple bike's just too generic. It is the very first motorcycle Jerry Tully built. And so we rightfully named it Tully 1. It's a very cool bike that is very nicely done, got a great paint job on it, and it's actually 15 years old. It's registered as an '03 motorcycle. That's when it was built and registered and put on the road, and it gets a lot of attention. So be sure you come by and see us in the Northeast Elkton area this Saturday, May the 19th. It's Outlawed Jamboree in the Woods. It's at Uncle Bob's Corral in the Woods, Northeast Elkton area of Maryland. Check it out on Facebook and come by and say hi. For all you local folks here in the Baltimore metropolitan area, here's another great local band that's been rocking and rolling for over 30 years. Great train robbery with short sets and long breaks. Welcome to the Walrus Podcast, y'all.
Do a song for you from 1988 when Kurt and I were on this album called Short Sets, Long Breaks, and Big Money.
Well, way back when she used to play, I had to listen to what the man would say. Play all night till you get it right. All we could do was fuss and fight. Then one day we got that call, time to do a show in a concert hall. When we saw green in hand, all we could was demand short sets, long breaks, big money. 6 foot down. Don't you worry, honey, now don't you frown. I'm up in heaven with a dancing fool, making my music and setting my rules. Short sets, long breaks, big money. Short sets, long breaks, big money.
Happy Monday to you, Walrus Nation. You know what? I love you all so much. You people are the greatest. My buddy Roadho, my talent is drinking moonshine and hanging and banging on Roadho, which is his motorcycle. He said, I'll come on your show if you think that would help me promote either one. Absolutely. Roadho, his motorcycle is for lack of a better word, because my CD skipped, it's an attraction in and of itself. Got a cool paint job on it, a vibe rider seat. It's got a few secrets he don't tell just everybody until they're on the back of it. But, and I actually can probably help you with that moonshine thing, Matty Sweet. I just came home from Tennessee, Bubby. Wink, wink. So, yes, you can come. I'll come help you promote either one, Roadho and drinking moonshine. I like Roadho, and I love moonshine as well. Many of us in the Walrus Nation are animal lovers. And, a stray cat, a stray dog always touches our heart a little bit when you see new kittens or new puppies. And sometimes we are motivated to take them in. But you in the Walrus Nation are smart enough to know when that is it's time. You are in a position where you can provide a better quality of life for this little critter, and the little critter needs it. Well, there's a family in Texas that might not have achieved that level of knowledge and education about taking in stray critters, because they thought they were taking in some abandoned little domestic cats. But as these kittens started to develop and grow and things didn't just seem right, well, they finally got the bright idea, maybe we should call somebody. Thank God they did. They rescued a whole band of wild bobcats. As the markings and the ears started to develop, they realized, hey, these ain't regular domestic house cats. We better check this out. Yep, took them to a vet and identified them as a very rare breed of bobcats that's native here. This is their territory. Somebody didn't just bring them in, and say, all right, we're going to turn all these cats loose and see how well that they populate this region of Texas. No, they're a native bobcat to North America, and they're a rare breed, though. And now, here is what gets me. Now, the state of Texas's Wildlife and Resources Department are seeing if they can figure out how to charge these people with some kind of crime. Because apparently these cats are on the protected species list, or endangered species list, I'm sorry. And now because they've rescued them and tried to take them in and domesticate them and have actually relocated them from their normal area, they're trying to charge these people. It was an honest mistake. And it was when the cats started biting them, that hey, wait a minute, this is a carnivorous cat. It's not going to be satisfied with it. It needs a little, living flesh to chew on. But, oh, God, they've already made a horrible mistake and brought bobcats into their house. Okay. I didn't know you could figure out how to charge people for being naive or, for lack of a better term, stupid. Why didn't they take them to the vet as soon as they brought them home? Why didn't they get some background and some information from a professional before they really tried to start domesticating these things? You just don't understand some people's thought processes. And you also don't know what you instigate. Case in point. Always been a dog person. Became more of a dog person when I met Pam Pie and we got together. And now, our house has been full of dogs since the day we got together and got married. Brutus and Lexi, then Champ came along, then Rocky and Holly, and now Smitty. Now, they're all not here at the same time, but we do have 3. My youngest daughter, who I mentioned earlier, has watched her father become a dog person, and she even got one of her own. Miss Zena. Well, then, before you know it, little Jax showed up. Now there's Miss Sadie, a 3-month-old Great Dane. And amongst all of this, her dog Zena gives birth to 9 puppies. She didn't get that whole spay and neuter thing at a young age done fast enough, and so when you tarry a little bit, sometimes things happen. Well, it did. Miss Zena turned out to be a mommy and gave birth to 9. And I was at her house last week, and she has turned into this wonderful 4-legged puppy mom. And the next story will tie this all together for you, because it says that there's some research that says that dogs prepare you for babies, but cats prepare you for teenagers. And so with that being said, the little tater baby is a mom-to-be. We found out last weekend that Kirsten is with child, and we're looking forward to that. So I'm encouraged to see her dealing with all these dogs and the puppies in such a motherly-like fashion, knowing that a baby's on the way. But in about 8 or 9 years, we may need to switch her over to cats, because teenagers, we don't need to talk about them. We've all been one or had one, and both, we've all been one, and some of us have been one and had one of our own. And I don't know how boys are. I've always thought I was the perfect child, and my mother has never done anything to tell me any different. We all know that's not true, but I know raising girls. I never raised a boy. I had 2 daughters, and I raised them, and even Pam Pyle testify. She raised Lauren. She was a teenager. Teenagers, girls go bananas. You can't figure them out. You can't help them. They become like aliens from the time they're 13 until the time they're about 19 or 20. And maybe I should have had some cats before my girls became teenagers. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Here's Safety Tested Boston, another band out of the Northeast, with their song Golden Gate. This is the Walrus Attacks Podcast on Spreaker.com. Thanks for joining the program, y'all.
Well, I got a date with the Golden Gate.
Happy Monday to you, Walrus Nation. That's Safety Tested Boston with their song Golden Gate. And you're going to get those type of songs from me because I learned a little something while we were preparing for this. A lot of my previous shows that were shared to my YouTube channel had been blocked because of royalties, copyright stuff, playing songs that, they wanted me to pay for. Well, I ain't getting paid to do this, so I am not paying for music, but I want to get paid for it, and to do that, I have to keep my videos and my posts available for everybody to listen to. So we are using music from our local folder, and hint, hint to all my local music folks, and I don't care if you're local to Cincinnati, Ohio. If you'd like to get your music played, you can send an MP3 file of your original music to TYARSH01. That's the TYAROSH01 at gmail.com. I'll reach out to you for a little more information and get some details, and then we'll start airing your music here on the Walrus Attacks podcast, because nobody wants to hear me talk all the time. You got to have a potty and smoke break every once in a while, right? So we work those songs in to help it get some exposure for local bands, local artists who are trying to make their break in the music industry. So keep that in mind, and if you have a band or a friend or family member that does have a band with their original music and like to hear it aired, well, this is the place to do it. So we were talking about, before we went into music break there, dogs prepare you for babies, but cats help prepare you for teenagers. Because cats are more finicky and more temperamental as it goes on with this idea, but they are a part of a collective group that of thoughts that Reddit has an entire category of, and they're called shower thoughts. And Reddit is dedicated to the miniature epiphanies to share them with you. And they've got people writing these for them, thoughts they had in the shower, because the shower is just not for singing anymore. It's been discovered that we have most of our profound and enlightening thoughts in the shower because we spend time away from those things that distract us, like our cell phones, YouTube, Facebook, our laptop, and all the things that go along with that. One of the other ones that I enjoyed was one of the most freeing feelings is when the police car behind you finally turns onto a different road. Yeah, you don't know how, you got to be me first to understand how nerve-wracking that is when the law drops in behind you, because, you don't never know what they're going to do to you. And not unjustifiably so, just saying, I've usually got a reason for them to talk to me. I don't like to advertise it. One of the other ones, I've done this, though. I can't express this feeling. One of the other shower thoughts Reddit shared was, I feel superior to animals that will chase a laser pointer light, but if a giant beam of red light suddenly appeared on Earth, humans would definitely go check it out. I've been tricked by friends with those little laser pointers. See a little red light. What the hell is that? Go looking for it. Where'd that come from? It's your buddies, you dingbat. Pay attention. You're worse than a cat now, see? So, the shower thoughts. What do you do in the shower besides, the normal stuff like wash your hair and take a bath? Is it one of your thought-provoking moments where you have time to reflect and study on things? Is it your moment of solitude and break from the world? We don't have that much anymore, do we? It's gotten to the point now where women are so desperate for their own space, they got tired of the men having a man cave, so they started these she sheds. I mean, that's pretty cool, but if the man's cave is in the basement, why is your wife out back in the shed like a lawnmower? Come on, fellas, your farting, beer drinking, burping ass needs to be the one out there in the shed. Move yourself out there. You can work on stuff. You don't need two spaces. You got your man cave in the basement and a shed out back where you go work on your motorcycle, or a garage where you go work on your motorcycle, your lawnmowers, change oil in your car. And the person that you're supposed to be your lifetime companion, you relegate the she shed. I think that's just wrong. Women, you should stand up and demand to have the basement. Take over the man cave. I don't know what you call it at that point. It's not a she shed. The babe basement or the broad basement, whatever. Now, I like the babe basement better. Come up with something better than a she shed. That's just, although your husband may be the kind you want to go lock yourself in a building and get away from him, I could see Pam needing to do that occasionally. That's what they used to call book club. That kind of went away over the past year or so. You know, Pam had other things to do, like be my nursemaid, but that's what they did. It was called book club then, and now need that she shed. She'd like to go lock herself in a building to get away from me, and I bet most women would. When you look at men, we haven't evolved that far. I mean, come on, I'm one of those kind of guys that don't like to take his shirt off at the beach because my back's just as hairy as my chest. But, you know, that's my problem. But it's just indication that I haven't evolved far from Cro-Magnon man, you know. My knuckles should still be dragging the ground a little bit. Haven't kept up with Darwin's evolution as probably as well as I should have. Didn't develop. And I think most men resort back to our cavemen-like mentalities when we get confused or frustrated. Watch a guy doing something, and all of a sudden, something totally out of the ordinary takes place. Catches him off guard. And now, since, you know, I bumped my head last year, I can get derailed easier now. And you get that just like goofy, confused look. Their shoulders start to slump. Their head starts to lean forward a little bit. Their back starts to arch. And before you know it, you can take a picture of Darwin's missing link or evolution, and you can find that man somewhere along that process, you know, going from ape to man. He's about midway there. We just get confused, lost, and draw a blank, and all of a sudden we start to look more like the theory of evolution chart than the upright, strong-minded man we think we are. Yeah, well, it doesn't happen that way. She sheds, you know, okay. I dig it. Take over the garage, ladies. And men, have a little more respect for your women. Don't put them outside with the lawnmower. You go out there. I think that's a better plan. Yes, I'm trying to appeal to the women audience. I get a lot of listeners. A lot of them are men. Miss Charlotte, Britt, you're one of the few listeners, other than the ones that have to listen, like my daughters and my wife, that listen because you choose to. Mr. John Quirk, I hope you have a safe and great day out there doing your deal. He's a truck driver running around making things happen, but he has to put up with all of us that can't drive, the non-professional drivers. So be cool out there today, John and Maddie Sweeten. I hope you're having a great day. I know I'm having a ball. And this is just the beginning. I've got some more information about that Rock Hall Spring Bike Fest coming up this Sunday. I'll have that for you after Left Stronger here on the Walrus Attacks Podcast.
So filthy and disgusting. Yeah, that's just what you would say to me when I tried for you. just what you would say to me when I tried for you. Yes, I said too.
Happy Monday, Walrus Nation. It's May the 14th, 2018. It's yours truly here with the Walrus Attacks podcast. Got some love for some folks from the Netherlands. I have love from them. Trust me, I don't have anybody in the Netherlands listen to me that I know of. But if you did listen to the little impromptu test we did Saturday night, Mr. Dave Benzotti from Benzotti Live was here, and over 77 countries his show is listened in, with over 800 episodes, and that's just an awesome accomplishment for Mr. Benzotti. And if I had listeners in the Netherlands, I would like it to be these folks, Mr. Redger and his wife. Now, see, as we've been regrouping here at the Walrus compound and trying to figure out, what yours truly is going to do next, we've been talking about potential road shows, joining that vendor life, and like Paulie Fabiano will teach us about in the coming weeks. Hit the road. Take the show on the road, book some comedy events, set up at bike rallies, do some emceeing, and sell our merchandise and give it a shot. Well, these folks have found a better way to do a road trip for a more positive cause. This man and wife have set out on a around the world trip, but what they're doing it in is what's most impressive. It's a 1915 Model T. That is correct. Now, the gentleman, he took a trip across Europe and stuff. He said, when I was young, I bought a 1923 Model T. He said, I wanted to have an old one. He said, I wanted a brass model, so I thought I bought this one especially for the world tour. The pair launched the trip to raise money for children's orphanages, which is a very commendable thing to do. They plan to clock over 130,000 kilometers and have visited, they've already clocked 130,000 kilometers and have already visited 50 countries since they left the Netherlands in 2012. They've been doing this for a while, and the Mrs. Retger says, sometimes it's hard for me to leave home because I'm a mother and grandmother. But now they have these new phones. They can FaceTime each other and get to say hi, Grandma. He said, our youngest grandchild is 5, but now we have the smart telephone. We can see each other. He says, Grandma, watch out for the spiders in Australia. So that makes her heart very happy, she says. Upon their arrival in Albany, this is Australia, car lovers passed by and even the local police stopped to greet the pair, which has been a memorable part of the road trip through Australia, they say. to take home all the memories from meeting all the lovely people on this part of the trip is a great thing, she says. Now, could you imagine a 1915 Model T? Now, no, they're not the most complicated mechanical apparatuses on the planet, but who knows how to fix one anymore? You know, mechanics these days around the world plug it in, the computer on the car tells them what's wrong with it, and then they fix it. You know, you're not going to do that with a 1915 Model T. And out across Australia, you know, that thing rides like a cattle rack probably compared to what we're used to. You know, I'd rather get in Pampa's car than get in my big old 2500 Chevrolet. It's a 3/4 ton truck. It rides a little rough. I could take it around the world. But good grief, a 1915 Model T. That's an awesome adventure. And to realize that these folks are doing it to raise money for a charitable cause such as children's orphanages. They've done this before. In 2007, Mr. Redger and his son, they did a trip from Beijing to Amsterdam to raise money for disadvantaged children back then, and that journey raised more than $200,000 to support two separate projects, one for nomadic children in Baranhar. I have no idea how to pronounce that, but it's a Middle Eastern country, I'm sure, and in eastern Mongolia for disabled children in a town there in the southern Gobi Desert. And I can't pronounce that name. I couldn't pronounce that one before I bumped my head, so I'm not even going to try it now. But these are adventurous folks setting out on a world trip in a Model T. They've already done, him and his son already did one trip from Beijing to Amsterdam, like I said. The couple goes on to state that we both love traveling in our Model T. Well, that just shows how crazy they are right there. But they do enjoy the open air. Yes, sometimes they have to deal with rain and the elements, but to be able to smell the air and enjoy the connection with Mother Nature as they drive around is one of the big aspects of their journey that they enjoy. And isn't that kind of same thing we do on motorcycles? Enjoy the open air, not being closed in with a roof and stuff over us. I would have opted for, a motorcycle trip like that instead of a Model T. But hey, to each his own. There's something for everybody out there in this world. And just because somebody finds something that doesn't work for you, doesn't mean it doesn't work for them, and doesn't mean it's a bad idea. And we can relate that to just about anything in life, I'm not finding fault for these folks taking out a Model T. I just know it wouldn't work for me, but that doesn't give me right to judge them, does it? I think if we would spend some time using that ideology about the individuals we meet every day, we all are not alike. That's what makes it so great. And accepting and understanding others' differences. And I think before you can accept it, you have to understand it. And a lot of times, me included, we jump to conclusions based on our own assumptions. We really don't know things as well as we think we do. And based on the information we have, we think we make wise decisions. Well, the problem is we don't have enough information to make a wise decision, so there's no potential for that happening. Be sure you check out things. Be sure you know what you think you know, and what you know are facts before passing judgment on folks in any aspect of life. Except for those kids that wear the sagging pants. I got no exception for them. Jerk their britches up, put a belt on them. Outside of that, you got to accept everybody else. Just kidding. This is the Walrus Attacks podcast. Enjoying a wonderful Monday. Here in the Mid-Atlantic yesterday, it was kind of gray and dreary, and it looks like we're going to have a couple more days like that. But just glad to see the warmer weather finally get here. I'm all right with a few April showers lingering over into May so that we get the flowers we're supposed to get. But warmer weather's coming. Events are happening all around us, and yours truly is going to be staying a little more local, and I'll have a full list of my upcoming events and some more information about that Rock Hall Spring Bike Fest 2018 happening this Sunday down in Rock Hall, Maryland on the Chesapeake Bay. This is the Walrus Attacks podcast. Welcome to the program, y'all.
Well, the first day I remember, second day was blurred. I sucked my brain in alcohol and images of her. Yes, she said that she was leaving. She said, go and have yourself some fun. So I spent 4 days drinking with a gun. Well, I took it to heart and what she said, headed for the door. I didn't have bad intention, wasn't looking to even score. I was just going out to down a few, have a little fun. So I spent 4 days drinking with a gun. Yeah, I woke up this morning wondering where I've been. It's been a few days since I've been sane. My hands are stained in red. Yeah, the last thing I remember, she said, go and have yourself some fun. So I spent 4 days drinking with a gun. Yeah, I went down to the bar room, grabbed myself a beer. Then she stood with a guy she knew and said, you ain't welcome here. So I pulled out my six-shooter and I think something went wrong. 'Cause I spent 4 days drinking with a gun. Yeah, I woke up doing 90, the cops in the rearview. What they want from me, I don't have a damn clue. She's the reason I got silly, yeah, drunken on the run. 'Cause I spent 4 days drinking with a gun. Yeah, I took it to heart and what she said, headed for the door. I didn't have bad intention, wasn't looking to even score. I was just going out to down a few, have a little fun. So I spent 4 days drinking with a gun. Yeah, she's the reason I got silly, yeah, drunken on the run. 'Cause I spent 4 days drinking with a gun. Yeah, I spent 4 days drinking with a gun.
Happy Monday, Walrus Nation. Oops, hang on, I'm clicking the wrong button here. Get that echo stopped in the background. Yeah, this is Sunday coming up. It's the Rock Hall Spring Bike Fest. It was actually originally scheduled for May the 6th, and some weather problems caused them to postpone it and put it off here till May the 20th. It's at Rock Hall Bayside Landing. It's sponsored and put on by the Rock Hall Volunteer Fire Company. It's from 1 to 4, so the vendors will get there, get set up. It's an afternoon ride from even from further down on the eastern shore, if you're down near Easton or on this side of the bay, Harford and Baltimore counties, it's not a far ride. It's a very enjoyable ride. Get yourself to Elkton, Maryland, and go south on 213. It'll take you down to Rock Hall. Once you get down there, you'll find plenty of signs leading you to the Rock Hall Spring Bike Fest, or you can Google the Rock Hall Bayside Landing. It's a big bayside park there. Lots of boats, marinas, and plenty of space for bikes and vendors. They'll have full day of entertainment. Yours truly will be there as well. Again, I'll have the choppers there. The Crazy Bitch Entertainment and Thunder Walrus swag will be available. You can purchase a shirt, help keep this program alive and going. We're just glad to be here. I'm looking forward to being down in Rock Hall. I know a lot of folks from the Eastern Shore, and I'm looking forward to meeting them and seeing them down there. Another guy I'd like to see, Mr. Jamie O'Connor. Thanks for listening up there in New England, my friend. He's out, he's usually out at night. Him and his dog do a little car recovery, and his puppy dog rides with him. I made friends with that gentleman a few years back when I had the opportunity to go to Laconia there at Bender's Three Ring Saloon, and I don't think that venue sets up anymore for Laconia's bike rally. But what a good fella, a good friend, and would love to see you again. As I posted on your comment there, mi amigo, I need to get myself a gig booked up there for Laconia Bike Rally this year. And you got any connections, be sure you give them to the Thunder Walrus, see if I can't make a deal and make my way back up to the great New England area. Beautiful up there. Laconia, New Hampshire, with one of the oldest, if not the oldest, motorcycle rally in the nation. Great people up there, very hospitable, and would look forward to spending another week up there with you guys. So, Jamie, keep me in mind. Thanks for following along. And, yes, I'd appreciate a gift basket of candy anytime you want to mail it to me, brother. Hit me up. I'll give you my my home address. You can send it to me. So mark your calendars this Sunday, May the 20th, Rock Hall Spring Bike Fest. Yours truly will be there. It's in Rock Hall, Maryland, at the Rock Hall Bayside Landing. Google it. Get yourself over there. Come down or up 213, whichever your direction you be coming from the lower eastern shore of Maryland, Delaware area, or the northern Maryland, southern Pennsylvania area. Get yourself to Elkton. Head south on 213 and look for signs, and we'll see you there. I'd like to talk to some folks who had the opportunity to make it to Ocean City's Bikes to the Beach Spring Rally. They scheduled that. It used to be like the last weekend of April or something, and this time they moved it. It was the first weekend here in May, and I don't believe, from what I understand, the weather was a little better previous years. In that last weekend of April, the April showers stuck around and kind of put a damper on a few of the events and things that were scheduled for the Bikes to the Beach rally in spring, so they've changed the weekend. This was the first year. I know a lot of folks that went down, and I'll have to reach out to those people, get some feedback from them, and see what they thought about the new schedule, the new weekend, and did it help the weather problems. I know a lot of like that. Laconia actually changed theirs a few years ago. Moved it back a week because Laconia, it always rained. There was something about the changing of the seasons that was a rainy time of the years, and Laconia changed theirs, and they've kept it changed. So hopefully they found success with moving theirs. We'll do some inquiring to those who went, and those of my friends that I know that went, we'll inquire to them and see what their opinion of the new week was. And how it did or did not affect the weather. Got to give some more shout-outs to some folks for those that helped out so much over the past year, have helped made this happen, and are helping getting the Walrus Attack Show out to venues. Hip Shooter Clothing, that is our clothing brand, and Hip Shooter Customs, an up-and-coming custom fabrication shop. I'll be telling you more about those folks. But if you need fabrication done, you've got some metal work, welding, a cool idea that you need a metal magician to bring it to fruition, I've got your guy. He's a Hip Shooter Customs. We'll be sharing more with you about them and Hip Shooter clothing as that unfolds. A lot of exciting things to look forward to. The most exciting thing for me is being here with you each and every day. And now I want to share. I got to share this with you. I know a lot of you have probably or may have heard this, but you got to find the positive and the funny in everything, okay? And sometimes when we are faced with difficult situations, accidents, injuries, illness, you kind of find it hard sometimes to find the funny. So while I was in the hospital getting doctored up and whatnot, wasn't real communicative, couldn't talk a whole lot. And when I did, I was usually screaming at people, but, I bumped my head. So as things mellowed and settled, and I'm going back to doctors for follow-ups for the shoulder that they had to fix and the cracks in my head and all that good stuff, I get those questionnaires. You've all been to the doctors, right? And you get your family history when you're seeing a new doctor. They want to know about past history and relatives who've had diabetes, heart disease, blah, 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 all that good stuff. And so you check it all off, and then you get down to the bottom of it where they start asking you questions. Do you smoke? Yes. How much? Half a pack to a pack a day. If it's a bad day, I smoke a whole pack. Okay. Do you drink? Yes. How much? 3 to 5 beers or 3 glasses of bourbon. If it's a bad day, I'll drink the whole 12-pack. Okay, great. Do you use recreational drugs? And, of course, I'm not able to write yet at this point, so Pam Pie's the one filling all this stuff out, and she's already got that look of discontent that she's not real happy I've given her these answers. When it says, she looked at me, well, what are you going to say to this? And I said, write in capital letters, not for recreation. Then underneath of it, say, I self-medicate with marijuana for anger management and anxiety problems. At that point, the triage nurse that was taking care of me, I think that's what they call them, the check-in nurse, whatever, didn't want to talk to me no more, or us. As nice as Pam is and as sweet as look, I was enough to, never mind, I'm not dealing with you anymore. So she leaves. The doctor comes back in and says, okay, well, I guess I have to take your blood pressure and respirations and all that. So he checks my pulse, does my blood pressure, my respirations. Everything is well within the normal ranges, and some of them are spot on perfect. The doc looks at the paperwork, and you smoke every day and you drink every day and you use recreational drugs, but not for recreation, huh? I said, yes, sir. He looked at me and said, you're the healthiest drug addict alcoholic I've ever examined. I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult. I know my stats say I'm healthy, but you just called me a drug addict and an alcoholic. You don't call people that are taking Paxil every day a drug addict. I medicate to keep from killing myself or somebody else. Okay, I maybe drink and smoke cigarettes a little too much, but hey, we all have our vices. I got mine. Matter of fact, I got 3 or 4 of them, but we won't discuss those at this point. The reality of life is, you know what? Make life what you want. It's you can. That is what you have control over, your choices. And your choices dictate your life. And sometimes we make bad ones. We live and learn from those. But if your happy cup, it's your responsibility to keep it full. I know my buddy John, when I saw him and his lovely wife Dawn back here a few weeks ago, he made me feel good because he was excited that the show was coming back. He said it helps him keep his happy cup full. If I can help splash a little happy in your happy cup every day, that'll make me happy because we've all got so much. Life is so full of responsibilities and things that are negative to our mentality and our picture of what life is. I think we get caught up in that universal swirl of the world is going crazy. No, we've let it go crazy by not controlling ourselves. And my commitment is that I'm going to do my best to help you be happy and find a positive mindset for each and every day, because life is just a system of steps. Put a couple of good days together, and before you know it, you've had a good week. And if you put a few good weeks together, then before you know it, you've had a good month. And as that domino effect goes on, before you know it, the months have accumulated and you've put together a good year. And I want that to be our mindsets, Walrus Nation. We're here to be a positive influence to the world around us. Yes, we've got our own beliefs, and we got what we stand for. What do you believe in? I think a lot of us can't answer that question. Part of my recovery was that, figure out what your purpose is, what your beliefs are, and how you view things, and be independent to a certain extent. Don't just follow the flow because all your friends feel this way about something. Figure it out for your own perspective, and you will find that the more you get to know about yourself, the more you're going to like yourself. I know I wasn't real big on liking myself after this accident because I wasn't real happy with what was left of me. And as I was going to therapy and counseling to deal with it, the simple question was posed to me. Well, whatever you're not happy with, work on fixing it. So most important to me, I wasn't happy with my speech. And so we worked hard and signed up for speech therapy and then physical therapy. And you make choices and dedications. And sometimes we just go through life on autopilot and don't even realize the decisions we are making are affecting us in a negative way. And it's sometimes just a simple change. For me to be able to grasp a positive concept, Pampa and I had to sit down, and I know she was doing everything she was doing out of love and help to be a support to me. But it come to a point where I wanted to start doing it for myself, and rather than stating that to her and working out a solution where I could start rebuilding my own independence, I got a little cranky and angry because I wasn't independent. Well, all I had to do was talk to her, and say, look, I need this. Okay, well, let's do this, and this. And that sense of independence and learning to like yourself is learning to accept yourself and learning that this is just my current situation. The doctor said my potential of getting better was, not in my favor, but it was always possible. You always have to believe, and that's where a sense of our spirit comes in. We have a spirit inside of us that is instilled with faith, and you got to put that faith somewhere. Put it in something you believe in. I believed in the doctors and therapists' instructions. They said that if I can do this, it'll help me. I believed that, and then I did it. And then I started getting better, and the more progress I saw, the harder I worked. And it made me believe in me again. And I think as a society and individuals, and a society is made up of individuals, sometimes we lose a little faith in ourselves. And don't do that. There's no need in it. You're still as strong and powerful because your mind is what you're working with. You got to believe in you and believe in the journey you're taking, and that this is your journey to live however you want. It's your life. You have decisions to make and choices. Well, everybody's got to go to work. Yeah, everybody's got to do something to get by, provide food, clothing, and shelter. You get a choice as to what you want to do, though. Find your happy place. Find something that gives you satisfaction, not in just knowing that you collect a paycheck every day, every week or 2 weeks, whatever that may be. That you're using the gifts and talents. Each of us have one. It may not be standing on stage, singing in front of hundreds of thousands of people. It may not be being the president of a large corporation and donating portions of that company's proceeds to wonderful charities somewhere where somebody's going to pat you on the back. You never know. Their gifts are so diverse in this world, and each of us have one. It's a gift of, I'd like to pray that my gift is making people smile and making them laugh, because that's what I get the most pleasure out of, is entertaining everybody. And at some point, I want to use what happened to me as a way to motivate you. Don't just because, and this is one of the new shirts coming up, when life throws you in a ditch, you have a choice to get up or not. And life literally, in every aspect of the word, threw me in a ditch. When that bike went down, it launched me off of it, and I hit the pavement and slid off in a ditch. And by the grace of God, I had a dear brother and friend who was there to help me till the paramedics got to me, and I had a choice. Well, I didn't really have a choice, because they dragged me out of the ditch and threw me on a stretcher. But I had a choice to get up out of that hospital bed and not accept the fact that this is what I was going to be. None of my doctors did, because a brain injury, as many of you know, is really no protocol, that when this happens, that happens. No, you have to, the brain is a very intricate device. It is the world's most complicated computer. And they pretty much told me, start therapy and see how good you can get. Well, I took that challenge, and not through my own efforts, but by the guidance of my therapist, the wisdom of my doctors, and my effort. I put forth the effort and believed. You got to believe. And it's important. It's more important than most of us think to believe. And so I want you to understand that. Find something in life and that you believe in, and work hard for it, and have the faith that you'll achieve it. If it's overcoming an accident, if it's achieving a college education, getting your degree in a specific specialization that would advance your career, whatever it may be, it's all achievable. You just have to focus on it and believe in it. And like on the homepage of Crazy Bitch Entertainment, the one picture, if you can believe it, you're already halfway there. So don't forget that, Walrus Nation. Make sure you plant your faith in a good fertile soil somewhere and keep believing in it, and know that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. And don't let obstacles get in your way. It's a good life. It's the only one we've been given, and we're going to make them. I'm going to make the most of it. I want to help you make the most of yours, and if nothing else, I at least want to help put a smile on your face. And remember, you're being entertained by the healthiest drug addict alcoholic on the planet that has a little brain, had a little brain trauma in the past. Bumped my head. Like I said, the CD skips once in a while, but I know you all love me, and I love you too. And you'll understand when that CD skips a little bit. Let's see what I got coming up next on the playlist for you. I want to find something out of this folder. No, not really. I've lost my folders. That's all right. We'll find them. It's Monday, May the 14th, 2018. Calling for some scattered showers a lot this week, but I am happy to say the weekend forecast is looking a little better. First Saturday was pretty strong chance that there was going to be showers for the outlawed jamboree. That, as of right now, the weather has looks a little better for that. And then on Sunday as well, there in Rock Hall, it looks like we're going to be all right with the weather there as well. You stop doing this. Why won't it give me what I want? Because you're not pushing the right buttons. Okay, I got it now. Just hold on. Now, little Joe Cat with Alligator Time. This is the Walrus Attacks podcast on Spreaker.com.
Louisiana, it don't mean no swamp. Where lives an alligator in Louisiana town. Got a quilted on the front and a diamond on his tail. And everybody wants for an alligator bag. Running the town day all night, me and an alligator with a big old bite. My name is Tom, and I survive. Call me my swamp. I take your life, I take your life. While the poor man toasts down, the fool stumbles home in the moonlight. Stumbles home in the moonlight. Oh, horn in a fishing on a hot summer day. Where he ran into a hunter when it hit him on the head. You've been causing trouble around these parts all my life. Gonna be the first one, gonna make it out alive. Running the town till all night, me and that'll get her with a big old bag. My name is Tom, and I survive. Call me my swan. Now take your life, I take your life. While the poor man toasts the bell, the fool stumbles home in the moonlight. Stumbles home in the moonlight. Day on something happened, hasn't happened in years. Old Tom started crying them alligator tears. Hunter felt sorry and he lowered down his gun. Tom wasn't crying, he was staring at the sun. Running the town till all night, me and old alligator with a big old bite. My name is Tom, and I survive. Call me my swan. I take your life, I take your life. While the poor man toasts the bell, the fool stumbles home in the moonlight. Stumbles home in the moonlight. Home in the moonlight.
Happy Monday, Walrus Nation. Wow, I love the outpouring. Our friend Charlotte Britt, darling, I'm not going to air your personal business, but no friends and family that she's having some health issues and says she can't be here tomorrow because some of her treatments start again. But Char, know that we love you, and the entire Walrus Nation will be sending you positive vibes tomorrow, and hope you can get back with us either on Wednesday or Thursday, whenever you can. And Spoo, it's always good to hear from you, mi amigo. I love you too, brother. And thanks for all the positive energy and positive vibes over the past year. It's just amazing, you know, as to the outpouring of support you get from people and the love you had no idea that existed for you, and the love that still exists even after the absence and being away for quite a while. It's a wonderful feeling, and all I can say is that I'm grateful and I'm very thankful for you. More information about Walrus stuff coming up. Many of you've seen the MFDC FL shirts. And you wonder, okay, everybody has asked me, what is that? Well, it's a hashtag that was started by a group of young men who started their own little crew. You know, they're like us. It's hard to find people that you connect with, and that's why we together collectively have connected as the Walrus Nation. I meet people all over the country traveling and doing bike rallies and stuff, and they become my friend. Well, then I meet somebody else and they become my friend. Well, when those two people say, well, if we both like him, maybe we'll get along. And folks find each other through networking, and Walrus Nation, we have found each other. And these four guys have come up with this hashtag MFDCFL. Well, I was curious myself. Fellas, what does this mean? Well, it depends on what you relate to. If you're a motorcyclist and are a beer aficionado like myself, it stands for Motorcycle Family Drinking Crew for Life. My Motorcycle Family Drinking Crew for Life, MFDCFL. Now, if you're not into motorcycles, but your family likes to get together and have a cold beer, or a cocktail over a picnic or backyard party, well, then it's My Family Drinking Crew for Life. And if you don't like motorcycles or drinking, you're not an adult beverage kind of person, that's great, because your hashtag MFDCFL stands for My Family Don't Care for Losers. Either way, you're acknowledging yourself as a part of the Walrus Nation, because all three of those apply to us. I like to ride motorcycles. I'm a fan of drinking beer, and my family is not dictated by the blood that runs through my veins, because they don't talk to me. So I get to pick my own new family, and these four guys have kind of adopted me as their crazy uncle, and I want to help promote their hashtag of unity, you know? Find your drinking crew. Be part of the MFDCFL, whether it's your motorcycle family drinking crew. And no, I don't condone riding your motorcycle, getting drunk, and then getting back on your motorcycle. But if you take a nice lengthy ride, and once you're back at your ranch or your final destination for the day, drop that bike on the Jiffy stick and pop a top on a nice ice cold beer. My favorite beer is cold, so don't worry about having the right beer if you ever invite the Thunder Walrus over. It don't matter what it is. Beer, it's cold. I'm good. Doesn't matter what label's on it, who made it, or where it was imported from. I don't need an education on what I'm drinking. I know it's beer. Side story, speaking of that, again, we don't condone drinking and driving, but there's nothing wrong with having a cold beer after you've reached your destination. And if you're not into drinking or motorcycles, then it's My Family Don't Care for Losers. Either way, we'll find a way for it to apply to you. And again, proceeds from the sales of those shirts go to support this podcast. Now, back to that educational thing. When Pam and I first started dating, I was trying to show her I had some couth and what do you call it? I'm not even sure. I just had couth. We'll go with that because the CD skipped again. But she's a wine drinker, not a wine aficionado. She's not a wine snob. She likes wine like I like beer. My beer is cold. She likes wine in a glass. That's it. It don't matter if it's red or white. If it's white, it should be chilled. I have learned that much. But she was going to a wine tasting, part of a wine club. So we get to go, and, you know, why people that seem to be fancy seem to have more care about and concern about details that I don't give a damn about. Like, they wanted to tell me the type of soil that this grape was grown in, and I don't care. It's dirt. I'm not going to go start growing my own grapes. I don't need to know how to nutritional up the dirt so that I get a good grape. If it's good, it's good. I don't care where it came from and what type of dirt it was grown in. I don't see anybody at the grocery store, you know, telling me what kind of dirt my potatoes were grown in and trying to make me feel better about them. I didn't need to know all this information. If it's beer, make sure it's cold and put it in a glass or cup, mug, something, give it to me. But, wine, fancy people need to know all of that stuff. I don't. I just need to know it's got an alcohol content above 4% and let me have it. That sounded a little alcoholic-like, didn't it? Maybe that doctor was right. Maybe I am the healthiest drug addict alcoholic. But I'm telling you what, I'm enjoying my life. And when he told me I was the healthiest drug addict alcoholic and he had ever examined, I said, well, that's all right. I don't want to be 100 years old in a hospital bed dying from nothing. No, that's not how this is going to work. I don't want to do that. I do, though, want to live to be 100 just to piss a bunch of people off. Not anybody in particular. There's just a few out there that the longer I live, the madder they get. So I'm going to live to be 100 just to spite them. See how that works out for me. Walrus Nation, it's Monday. I lost microphones there. I don't know how long I've been off, but for some reason I lost microphones. And, hey, brother, okay. I don't know how long that happened or why that happened, but they're back on now. Sorry. And I don't know how much you missed of what I was saying. And now that I realized I've lost microphones, I kind of forgot what I was saying. See, that's what happens. You get derailed. You're on a thought, a train of thought, and having a conversation without you all actually really talking back to me, but sharing thoughts. And then that thought changed, and my microphones were dead, and I realized I wasn't putting any noise out. So now I'm putting out noise. Let me find a little music here. I'll get regrouped, and we'll be back with more of the Walrus Attacks podcast here on Spreaker.com. Welcome to the program, y'all.
Up from Reno, I was trailed by 20 hounds. Didn't get to sleep that night. The morning came around. Set out rolling for to take my time. Friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep for tonight. Ran into the devil, baby, loaned me 20 bills. Spent the night in Utah, cable in the hills. Sit out rolling, boat to take my time. Friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Got the reasons why I cry awake each lonely night. First one's named Sweet Anne Marie, she's my heart's delight. Second one is prison bed and the sheriff's on my trail. If it catches up with me, spend my life in jail. Got a wife in Chino, baby, born in Cherokee. First one said she got my child, but it don't look like me. Sit out rolling, go to take my time. Friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Each lonely night. First one's named Sweet Anne Marie, and she's my heart's delight. Second one is prison bed and the sheriff's on my trail. If he catches up with me, spend my life in jail. You can borrow from the devil, baby, you can borrow from your friend. Devil give you 50, but your friend will give you 10. Sit out on the boat to take my time. Friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, I just might get some sleep tonight. All right.
Happy Monday, Walrus Nation. We're creeping up on that lunchtime hour. I know everybody looks for that lunchtime break, don't you? And as we get ready to head into that lunchtime hour, I hope you all are having a great Monday. The weather is clearing up a little outside the Walrus compound here. Hopefully it's clearing up where you are as well. I had a text message from my dear friend Spoo, and he said I'm glad to be here, Spoo. I'm thankful you're listening. But him and his wife also have a wonderful charity that I'd love to have them in to talk about. So that'll be one of the upcoming things that you can look forward to here on the Walrus Attacks podcast. Another positive story I want to share with you from a man named Jerry Tully. As I mentioned earlier, a Custom Auto and Cycle is a proud and gracious sponsor of this Walrus Attacks podcast. As I told you, Jerry is the one who put my bike back together after I laid that one down, and is also the creator and builder of Tully One, the very unique and pretty purple chopper that travels with me. Jerry is a gentleman who has had a wonderful journey in this life, and it started out a little rough. As a child, he had polio. Well, later on in life, just a year or so ago, Jerry had to have back surgery. Nobody ever knew. I didn't. I mean, somebody knew, but it wasn't very common that there was a syndrome much like what caused my issues, the post-concussive syndrome. There is a syndrome called post-polio syndrome. And Jerry had that back surgery, from what I understand, and then this flare-up happened. His polio, for what lack of a better term, kind of came back, paralyzing him, putting him in a wheelchair. It was very debilitating. Then once Jerry got the diagnosis from his doctors, they set him and Miss Tully down and proceeded to tell him that this is normally a death sentence. There are no real recorded survivors of post-polio syndrome. But they wanted to work with him and help him try to beat this. Well, Jerry's one of those guys that he's as tough as a Dodge truck, and he drives one, actually. But the old fella is tough as a Dodge truck and has a passion for life, and he wasn't ready to surrender that. And Jerry has worked hard and still goes to water therapy every day in a pool where he exercises and does these things. Well, he's back up on his feet. He got up out of that wheelchair, and he wants to give the credit to his commitment to fixing my motorcycle for me, putting it back together. He says, Timmy, and yes, Jerry calls me Timmy, and very few people can do that, but Jerry's one of them. My mother's the other. And Jerry said, Timmy, that knowing that your motorcycle was there waiting, I committed to fixing that bike for you, and I'm going to fix it. And it motivated him. It was therapy for him. That's all you need, is motivation. The human desire for life, liberty, and happiness isn't just in us as Americans. It's in us as humans. It's a desire to live, a passion for life, and something to motivate you, no matter how difficult the task is at hand or how big that mountain seems to be. The first step to getting over it is just that. Take the first step and find that fire inside you. We all have it. It's they call it fight or flight syndrome, or whatever. It's not a syndrome, but fight or flight response. You either want to stay and fight or you want to run from it. And a lot of times as humans, we don't like conflict, even if it's internal conflict. The fact that this struggle is so hard, I don't want to do it. It's too embarrassing. I don't feel comfortable in front of people. Well, you're going to have to do what it takes. And when I wasn't comfortable going to those therapy rooms with all these other people who, to me, because their injuries were apparent and physical, and it enlightened me a whole lot, more so than I thought. I was pretty aware of PTSD growing up with a father that had it, a Vietnam veteran who suffered from PTSD for a very long time before it was ever even acknowledged. But you don't realize until it happens to you that, yeah, I can see this guy's had a hip replacement or this lady's had foot surgery, and they're in there recovering from my injuries weren't visible. It was in my head, the traumatic brain injury, and it makes you understand that not everybody's injuries or wounds are visible, and sometimes you got to take a little time to get to know them and understand what they struggle with. And it was embarrassing to me. I'm considered myself a very healthy and, for lack of a better term, athletic. I was athletic up until I was in my late 30s, and then I just kind of became fat and lazy. But I changed that as well. Started working on it, lose a little weight, get a little healthier. And at the time, I thought I was a perfectly healthy, normal, mid to late 40s kind of guy. And then when you're set back, you're not. But I didn't have, surgery and things, hip replacement. I'm in here just trying to connect the dots again. And when you overcome that and find that motivation, like Jerry did, I hate to think that the pressure of my motorcycle in there needing to be fixed. But if it worked for a positive for him, you can use anything for motivation or to find positive inspiration. You just got to be willing to look for it. And also be able to identify it. A lot of folks have things around them that are very motivating, but yet they don't look at it hard enough to see or understand how and why. And we need to slow down, stop a little bit, get off that hamster wheel of life that normal people, everybody, this is what life is, and this is how you do it. Well, that's a plan that worked for somebody else. Have you ever considered trying something different? Venture out a little bit? Some people need that. Some people are more comfortable in that status quo of systematic way of living, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as that is what gives you contentment and happiness and a sense of peace. I'm not one of those people. I'm the odd man out. I don't need that sense of home base and planted roots, set down and established, for lack of a better term. I'm like a tumbleweed, and actually my dear friend Tony DeVille created that. I'll share that with you. My Thunder Walrus logo with the Confederate and American flags in it, blah, blah, blah. Tony created that original one. And after the accident, one friend said it. A bunch of other ones agreed with it. My dear friend Dustin said, you get to keep the TW for Thunder Walrus. He said, but based on the way you throwed your fat ass down 136, we're going to name you Tumbleweed. And lo and behold, it wasn't a few hours, and Tony DeVille shared that Tumbleweed new logo with me, and I thought that was funny. You got to laugh about it a little bit. To the point where even real close friends know me and are comfortable with it. One was trying to imitate me, and now that I sound like Carl from Sling Blade, I tried mustard on my biscuits, and it wasn't that impressive. I didn't like it that much. But now, a friend said, look, Timmy, I was trying to impersonate your stutter, and now you've you've overcome that, and now I got to learn to talk like you without stuttering. That's funny to me because I can laugh about it. You know what? I don't care that I'm different, and I know the ones that love me don't care that I'm different. You're just happy I'm here. I'm just happy I'm here, and I'm thrilled to be here with you right now for this Walrus Attacks podcast, and I'll be here every day, Monday through Friday, unless schedule conflicts for traveling interfere once in a while. But I'm going to try to do this Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. each and every day. And when the opportunities to travel on the road take place, well, I'm hoping that sponsorship will be in place at that point. We can take the show on the road with us, whether via a hotspot for Wi-Fi connection or be able to connect into the facility's Wi-Fi to do our broadcast live and remote from wherever we will be. You know, in the past we've done that. We've done live shows from Laconia, New Hampshire, Daytona, Florida, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We've done them from a lot of places, even Apple Mountain. We went out there one year with House of Ponchos, Tattoos and Piercing. We went out to Apple Mountain, broadcast out there. We'll be looking forward to opportunities like that for emceeing and promotional purposes. Hey, man, you know, you can tell a friend, you can telegraph, or you can tell the Walrus, and I'll share your information about your product or service. Sponsorship opportunities are still available, so keep those in mind. If you want to keep the Walrus Attacks podcast coming at you, help us make that connection with friends and business owners that we can help by promoting their service, business, or product to the Walrus Nation. Coming up next here, I've got some new kings of rhythm from the southern Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area. Rob and his friends put this group together, and wonderful group of guys who play some pretty cool music. You're listening to the Walrus Attacks podcast here on Spreaker.com.
make you fall, yeah, yeah, yeah. Two faces with that seem to look like you, with that seem to look like you. Two faces. Which one protects the truth? Which one protects the truth? Two faces. Taking over me. Is this who you wanna be? And I'm drowning in this sea. I don't know what to believe. And you tell me time and time again that you'll be here till the end. But that darkness that shadows me tells me in the end that all you'll be is two faces. Whoa, two faces. Ooh. Two faces that seem to look like you, that seem to look like you. Two faces. Which one protects the truth? Which one protects the truth? Two faces.
That's Two Faces by a band called Chain Denial. Welcome to the Thunder Walrus podcast. It's the Walrus Attacks podcast. Remember the name of your own show, dumbass. That's going to help you a great deal when you remember the name of your own show. I'll try to work on that a little better tomorrow. I also want to make sure I get everybody opportunity to thank so many people. Again, I've mentioned Tony DeVille Ink Tattoo and Piercing down on Eastern Avenue in Baltimore, Maryland. Mentioned Jerry Tully and Custom Auto and Cycles in Oliphant, Pennsylvania. And I also want to mention L's County Line Bar and Grill, formerly known as the Dewdrop Inn. Elle and her husband bought that bar. It's a very biker-friendly bar with a lot of great entertainment. They've done a lot of work at that place, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be a part of their upcoming events. We're talking and working those kind of things out, and Matt says I'm off air. Am I not encoding? It says encoded. Matt, am I back now? My encoder says it's encoding and streaming, so we're still doing that. Matt just sent that. Let's see how long ago. Just now. You're off air. Maybe I'm hoping it's Matt's internet feed that dropped him, because it says I'm still broadcasting and I'm still live, so I'm going to keep going. But L's County Line Bar and Grill, if you're in the Baltimore, Harford County areas here in Maryland and you haven't stopped by yet, be sure you check them out. The service and food is great, a wonderful atmosphere, and a very biker-friendly environment. Also, a gentleman I got the opportunity to meet, and now he says, good, okay. Thank you, Matt, for keeping me updated. And Pam Pie says she hears me, so we're going to keep rocking here. But I had the opportunity to meet a wonderful gentleman. His name is John McGill. His business is Johnny Nomad Photography, but he's a wonderful photographer and videographer, has his FCC license to fly drones, and did a lot of wonderful promotional video and photos for us in Daytona. And when I say us, I mean Johnny Lang with Strip Club Choppers and myself. And the photos that I'm sharing with you now, the black and white and the color of me and the cowboy hat, all taken by Johnny Nomad Photography. And we appreciate his contributions and help in getting us back up and running here with some promotional photos and opportunities to share the fact that the Walrus Attacks podcast is back, and we're glad to be here. And if you're in the Daytona Beach, Ormond Beach area of Florida, Central Florida, he travels, so you've got an event that you'd like some assistance with video or photography, be sure you check out Johnny Nomad Photography in Daytona Beach, Florida, and he can help you out. Be sure you let him know that the Thunder Walrus sent you. And when you stop by L's Bar and Grill, let them know that the Thunder Walrus sent you. And they're not going to give, all they're going to do is charge you more and keep an eye on you when you tell them the Walrus sent you, because they know you're a friend of mine, and there's always that opportunity that you're going to act up. But they will still treat you very nice. And that way they know that it's the listeners from the Thunder Walrus, the Walrus Attacks podcast, that are coming by saying hi and checking out their new bar. Coming up events, don't forget this Saturday, it's the first annual Outlawed Jamboree in the Woods. This sounds like a wonderful event. They've put together it at a great venue. I have performed comedy up there at Uncle Bob's before. My friend Tom Myers was booking a room up there for a guy a while back. Can't remember exactly how long ago it was because, I bumped my head last year. But I do remember doing the event. Uncle Bob's is a great indoor and outdoor venue. The Outlawed Jam in the Woods is taking place outside under the pavilion, and vendors and folks will be there. I'll be there as well. So come by, enjoy some great music, a great day of entertainment. Say hi, get your picture made on Tully One, and just for comedic value, changing the subject. Yes, you guys some of y'all have been out to the events, the Abate event we did down at Big Falls a weekend or so ago. But the motorcycle that I was on when I went down last year has been affectionately named Butt Jewelry, because since it has been reconstructed, it's been giving us signs that not to be ridden. This bike is just for show only now. And here's one example. So I went and picked the bike up from Jerry just before I left for Daytona back in early March. The bike was fine. I took it around a ride around the block here in the neighborhood. Everything was good. Loaded on the trailer and went to Daytona. Get down there and, moving it around for photo shoots and just various things, putting it away every night, starting it, letting it run a little bit, riding it. One evening I go to get on it, hit the button, and nothing happens. So I push it in, wait till the next day, get up, have a little time. One of the mechanics there helps me out a great deal, opens it, gets me the tools I need to take the bike apart or take the seat off, and the negative battery post is melted off of the battery. I'm not kidding. Melted completely off of the battery. So, make a phone call to Jerry. Jerry, don't understand this. Well, what's happened? He said, I don't know, man. Does some research on his own, calls me back and says everything that I can find that would cause that to do that is one thing, and that's your stator's overcharging. It's overcharging the battery. Everything else that goes wrong electrically with a motorcycle causes the positive post to melt, according to him and a few other mechanics I talked to. So and then we put a new battery in it, tested, the stator's fine. So the only thing we could come up with was that when the motorcycle slammed itself on the ground after it threw me off of it, that it hit so hard it broke a plate in the battery or something and caused it to short out internally. But just weird things like that. The first time Jerry put it back together, he brought it home. I rode it 15 miles and the engine grenaded. Jerry took it back and fixed the motor completely. New, inside, top to bottom. Gives it back to me, and then the negative battery. Even Johnny looked at me and said, dude, that bike's got bad juju. Just let it become a pretty piece that sits around. So we affectionately decided to nickname it Butt Jewelry. So Tully One and Butt Jewelry will both be available this weekend. First, this Saturday at Outlawed Jamboree in the Woods at Uncle Bob's Uncle Bob's Corral or something like that. Now I done forgot the name. And then on Sunday, 1 to 4 at the Rock Hall Landing, we will be there for the 2018 Rock Hall Spring Bike Fest. Come by and say hi. Looking forward to seeing everybody. And I've got a couple of events up in Elkton. There's an organization called Knights of the Fallen, and that's a June date. And I don't know if whatever falls on the weekend, is the 10th or the 14th. There's a date in July that I get confused, but also in Carroll County on June 2nd, it's Coon Motorcycle Day at the Coon Club. Our dear friends with Bad Bunny Entertainment, Mr. Roger and Lori Hill, have invited yours truly to come out, and we'll be out there with the bikes and the merchandise. And Roger's also going to give me the opportunity to do a little guest emceeing out there. He's your MC and host for that rally and that day's events. It's the Coon Club in Carroll County, June the 2nd. You can check that event out on Facebook. There is an event there for it. I'll be there as well. So the Maryland, Southern PA, Delaware area, you're going to get a good dose of yours truly in the coming months, and I can't wait. It's such a good time, and it fills my happy cup so much to be out there with you guys and to get to meet and see people for reasons just like this. A couple Saturdays ago, did a Bait of Hartford and Baltimore counties Get Ready to Ride event at Big Falls Inn. And I had the opportunity, due to a cancellation from the scheduled pastor that was supposed to be there, I got to do the blessing of the bikes. And I shared a little bit of my story and did the blessing of the bikes, and then moved on with the day's events. And in the middle of the afternoon, a lady comes up to me, and I can tell she's a little emotional. She's got a tear in her eye. And I said, "Darling, are you all right?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm better than all right." She said, I'm ecstatic. And I said, "What for?" She said, "To see you up and moving and talking like you are." I said, "Well, thank you, darling. Do I know you from somewhere?" And as she choked back a tear or two, she said, "I was your nurse at Bayview Medical Center the Sunday afternoon they brought you in. And you as a person made an impression on me." And she said, "All of us in that ER that night were praying very hard for you and continued to pray for you while you were in the hospital." And that was striking to me, that even in my incapacitated condition and just the story of what put me in that ER that day, those women and men, whoever was in that ER, I'm sure it wasn't all women. There's plenty of men nurses, and I don't mean to sound, chauvinistic or nothing like that. Don't get me wrong. But the individuals, male or female, doctors, nurses, orderlies, phlebotomists, whoever was there and involved in taking care of me that day, they felt something. It became important to them, as I'm sure all of their patients are. But for a year later, that woman's never seen me again because she was just the ER nurse. And I don't say that in disrespect, just an ER nurse. She didn't deal with me outside of the ER in any other capacity. But to see that my efforts and my blessing of being able to recover to this point touched someone else. I'm sure in that environment she's in, there's probably more negative outcomes to people coming in from a motorcycle accident than there are positive ones. And to know that her experiencing my ability, my recovery, and my abilities now, based on what I suffered injury-wise brightened her day. So, and Charlotte, I hear you down there in North Carolina, darling. I love you too, and I'm just a boy in a man's world, but I'm glad I can be an inspiration to you. The entire Walrus Nation is praying for you for whatever the universe has in store. Like I said, she's starting treatment. She's fighting an illness. She said she didn't care that I shared it. It's cancer, and it's pancreatic and liver cancer. And her, what is that? Oh, I should know this. Chemo, there we go. Her chemo treatments start up again tomorrow. And every day, whatever your devotional or meditation time allows you, make sure you spend a little time during either of those situations, a little meditation and positive energy for our friend Midnight Rider, Charlotte, down in North Carolina. She's a wonderful person and has done great things. If you've been a part or experienced Flags Across America, that's her deal, man. She's the one that started and originated that. And you can check her out on Facebook. Check out Flags Across America and just remember her in your times of devotion or meditation to send her a little positive energy. There's been so many of you reach out to me via text message or on my Spreaker chat. Know that there's a chat room available on Spreaker. I monitor my Facebook page a little bit, and I've also always got the phone here. The ones that have reached out to me, text message, Matty Sweet, we love you too, brother. Spoo, can't wait to get you in studio so we can share. I believe it's called Char's Hope. And if I'm wrong with that, well, Billy, send me a text message, give me the right name. But it's a wonderful charity and organization that I'd love to share with you, Walrus Nation. And we'll get Spoo in here to do that in the coming weeks. Also, like I said, looking forward to getting our comedic friend Mike Finazzo in here. Always said he's always dreamed of being a filmmaker as a kid, and he's swung at it a couple of times and had success learning his craft. Well, he's put together a pretty good movie here, it sounds like. A little indie movie that's going to be shown at the Senator Theater coming up the first part of June, I believe. And I'll make effort to contact him and get him scheduled to come in, and if he can't, we'll do it via telephone to share that local guy's success stories. Got himself a movie made and going to be showing it at the Senator Theater. That's pretty cool, man. That's big accomplishments. Once again, got to thank our sponsors and helpers, those that help us get here today. Tony DeVille, DeVille Link, DeVille Tattoo and Piercing Company in Baltimore, Maryland. Our dear friends Jerry and the entire crew at Custom Auto and Cycle in Oliphant, Pennsylvania. Custom cars, street rods, motorcycles. You want it tricked out, customized, or just more horsepower than you know what to do with, give old Jerry a call. Look him up. It's Jerry Tully on Facebook, and the company is Custom Auto and Cycles in Oliphant, Pennsylvania. Thanks to Johnny McGill and his crew down in Daytona for the pictures and promo stuff. And to L's County Line Bar and Grill. Thanks for being a motorcycle-friendly atmosphere that puts on a wonderful day of entertainment. Outside stage for bands when the weather's nice. The inside is redone and beautiful. A nice deck to set on with an outside bar. Even got a crab house down there. And we may try to take the crab house over one day and do a Thunder Walrus comedy show in there. We're discussing it. We'll see what we can make happen. I got a little more music for you, and then I'll be back to wrap this episode of the Walrus Attacks podcast up and wish you a rest of your happy Monday. Still more to come. Stick around, y'all.
bright. Somewhere on this road, the skies turn gray. Will you be the one to take all the pain away? As for feelings I have none, they've none away. The casualty of choices made led you to an early grave. Arizona's night blows so cold. Two empty candle bottles, this is so with no signs that I can see on my way. I just use a little something to brighten up this day after day. The words you said sunk straight into my veins, and now I'm left here dragging around these chains. Stuck here living in this world that I helped make. Thought she found love, but in the end she was betrayed. She was
Happy Monday to you, Walrus Nation. Epic. Just freaking epic. You know, this is why I love doing this, because these type of moments that make you laugh, you can't make up, you can't plan them, and you damn sure can't schedule them. So I've been making reference to a friend, and that's the sad part. This is a person I truly call a friend. We met at a bike rally, but connected on a much deeper level than just motorcycles, and have been to events together, partied together, hung out together, and it's not a guy I just met yesterday. Remember the road hoe motorcycle I was talking about? The road hoe himself, who I have been referring to as Matty Sweet. For years, that's what his name was. Now, it's pronounced Suit. There's no E on it. It's Matt Suit. How stupid do I feel knowing that this is a guy I call friend, brother, you know? He's been there for me. He came to my benefit last year. This is a guy that has shown much love and respect for me, and I've tried to do the same for him. Yet, I don't even really know his name. I've been mispronouncing it all these years. Holy crap. Well, Matt, I am so sorry. Oh, just, you feel like an idiot, you know? That's why I know I'm not a real good friend. That's why it takes people like Matt with guys and girls that have hearts bigger than their heads to understand it. He's not a good friend. He won't even know your real name, but he'll love you. He just won't know your name. And that was before I bumped my head. Have you ever? I've done that several times, and not just with last names. I'd known this guy through business connections, probably a little over 2 years. Every time he came to the shop, hey, Scott, what's happening, brother? Not much. Finally, after about 1.5 years, he said, can I ask you something? I said, sure. He said, well, why do you call me Scott? I said, because that's your name. He said, no, it's not. I couldn't be the guy to go, yes, it is. I know you. He's going to know his own name, right? Well, if your name ain't Scott, what is it? And it's not like it was anything close. Steve, Sean, even began with an S. His name was John. I said, why have you been letting me call you Scott? He said, I just thought you had made a mistake and would sooner or later correct it. Well, nobody else ever calls you by your name. Everybody else, hey, dude, hey, man, what's up? I said, I was trying to be polite and, at least reference you by your name instead of just dude. Yeah, well, if you're going to do it, use the right one because my name's John, not Scott. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. Oops, forgive me. Even when I try to be nice to people, I call them by their wrong name. Well, the one blessing of all of this is, though I forget a lot of stuff, and yes, I may incorrectly state things, by the grace of God, even after bumping my head, I have not called Pam the wrong name yet. I've got 3 other opportunities, and the bad part about it is 2 of them are Kim. Yes, I'm the guy that married Kim number 1 and then married Kim number 2 and then decided to get out of the K's and went and married somebody named Sheila. And, well, that went extraordinarily well, as you can tell. But, man, again, Matt, I'm sorry. You've made friends with a blithering idiot, and this is the consequences of it. So we're just going to affectionately refer to him as our old buddy Roadho, because that's who and what he is. Anytime he'll do anything to be able to get on the road and get on his bike and put a few miles on it, especially if you're heading to a party destination. He's definitely, I'd say he's one of the true blue Walrus Nation kind of guys. And it's a party and I can take my bike, I'm there. Where are we sleeping? In a tent? All right. It don't matter. As long as we're going to a party and we can stay where we are, go have a good time, wake up the next morning, and then decide whether we're going to carry on for day 2 or head home. That's our buddy Matt, and we're very thrilled to call him friend and very embarrassed to realize I've been calling by the wrong last name for 2 years. Got a group called Iconics up with a song called Ritual. This is the Walrus Attacks podcast. Welcome to the program, y'all.
Again, know it all too well. All against me, never please.
band Iconics with their song Ritual. Hey, as I check out social media, man, the party just keeps growing. Our buddy Huffy the Clown, Mr. Wayne Huffman, glad you're hanging out with us, Huffy. Appreciate you, my friend, and I'll be in touch soon. Huffy and I, he's another part of the reason I'm able to get back up on my feet so quick with equipment. He was very kind to make a deal with me and give me some equipment to get me going, and we're getting there, Huff, and I know what you did for me, and I know I owe you one, brother, and I appreciate you. I ain't forgot you. And Painless James McLaughlin, New Image Tattoos, Augusta, Georgia. Our buddy Painless James, he's done some work on yours truly as well, and has a very fine, reputable tattoo shop, and he is a wonderful tattoo artist in Augusta, Georgia. Got his new location. I'll have to get that address from him, but Painless, I appreciate you stopping by and saying hi. And to all of the others, Matt Soot and Spoo, John Quirk, all of you, Charlotte, we appreciate you and love you all so much. Didn't realize that that many people was joining the party today, and I'm a little nervous. I got to be honest with you. Some butterflies in my stomach, and a little scatterbrained. Didn't keep the schedule I had intended to keep this past week. I had some family issues to deal with in Tennessee. Went and took care of those, and got myself back up here Friday night and did a crash course Saturday and yesterday. And like I said at the beginning of the show, the video aspect of the program is not completely, the details aren't worked out yet, so I'll figure that out. And anybody got suggestions or help, any of my IT friends can help the poor old hillbilly out that's bumped his head. I couldn't figure this stuff out before. I had to have Dustin come do it. I'll have to have him come do it again probably. And I'm sure he'll be glad to do that. And there we go. The CD skipped again. Oh, the butterflies in my stomach. So I didn't keep the schedule that I wanted to, and I didn't have everything done today, and I apologize for that, and I thank you for your understanding. The Walrus Wonders question of the day, good Lord willing, I'll get this thing a little more under control tomorrow. We'll have a Walrus Wonders question of the day, your daily dope, your dose of positive energy for the day, something to lift you up and help you find the brighter side, or if nothing else, at least a silver lining in that cloud that you're currently dealing with in life. And I'm just grateful. This has been very therapeutic for me. I hope and pray that it was entertaining for you. And when you get to a point in your Monday when you're like, I just can't wait for this to be over, here's your Monday daily dose of positive energy. Be glad you're not me, because as I end this broadcast, I get to go upstairs, brush my teeth, freshen my breath, and go to the dentist and have a root canal. Honest to God, I'm not kidding. That's my Monday afternoon. So we'll discuss that. Well, I guess I may be lying to you. I've already went and had the root canal. There's a temporary crown on. I just got to go get the permanent crown put on today. So maybe this ain't going to be as bad as I anticipate. Either way, we'll discuss it tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, for the very second edition of the Walrus Attacks Podcast 2.0. That was another joke I was contemplating as getting back on stage and telling jokes. This relaunch of the Thunder Walrus, it's Walrus 2.0, but trust me, it's not an improvement. Oh, well, it may be. Who knows? This may be funnier now that I've got a few more things to deal with and a little more crazy to draw from. As we wrap this program up, thank you once again. Each and every one of you, share the love, spread the word, call your friends, call your neighbors. Hell, I don't care if you call your enemies. Let them know that the Walrus Attacks Podcast is on the air each and every day, Monday through Friday, live, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And you can listen at your leisure by going to Spreaker.com facebook.com/Walrus Attacks. Click on episodes, find the one you missed, and share it with your friends and family. Until tomorrow, y'all, here's a little great train robbery with Sunday on the Rocks. Peace, Walrus Nation.
Our Harford County people tonight. All three of you. We're going to send this song out to the fallen brothers of great train robbery. Mr. Jim Allison, Mr. Rich DeSandra, and Mr. Mel Smith. This song goes out to them. All right, here we go.
Take a 5-mile drive going north out of town on a road as old as I knew, on a road that was traveled by my brothers, same road as me and you. After a hard day at work, I had some money to spend with a girl that I had to see. Town to look her up, Mister, tell me where can she be? I'll spend Sunday on the rocks. Oh, another Sunday on the rocks. I checked some local bars, disco stars, trying to think where she might be. Just thinking that she might need a friend or just some company. As I turned the corner of Broadway and Fleet, well, much to my surprise, I saw her standing with a friend of mine. They were holding each other tight. So just forget the car payment, forget the overdue. Think about the mortgage or union dues. Think about the moment, think about your friends. Head out to the rocks until the hurting ends. I'll spend Sunday on the rocks. Sunday on the rocks. All right. When you have to get away and look up in the sky, just think about the time she made you laugh and the time she made you cry. Forget the car payment, forget the overdue. Think about the mortgage or union dues. Think about the moment, think about your friends. Head out to the rocks until the hurting ends. I'll spend Sunday on the rocks. Oh, another Sunday Honey on the run.